Muslims, to Allah we complain of all that is transpiring in the world today. To Allah we complain of our weakness. To Allah we complain of our humiliation. To Allah we complain of even having to beg others for recognition, of having the opportunity to humanize our grief. To Allah we complain that we don't even have a nominal space on a national platform where every single race and religion is represented except for our religion and except for our race and except for our people. We have to beg even for attention. To Allah we complain of all the images that we are seeing, of the mothers who have been widowed, of the orphans crying and searching for their parents amongst the rubble, of fathers holding up their charred and disfigured babies as they have been completely obliterated to beyond recognition. To Allah we complain of our own desensitization. Who could have ever imagined a time when we are sitting in the comfort of our rooms, scrolling through entertainment, scrolling through news items, and an image comes up that is so horrific, that is so crude, that is so vulgar, that wallahi, if a Hollywood movie were to fake that image, that movie would come with a disclaimer that children should not watch that movie. But this is not fake images we are seeing. We are seeing real bodies of children. We are seeing dismembered toddlers that have been blown to shreds. And to Allah we complain of the desensitization even amongst us, that we scroll through that feed and we look at that image and we say astaghfirullah and we move on to another tidbit. May Allah forgive us. We might laugh, we might cry, we might move on, and life goes on. To Allah we complain of the hardness of our hearts. To Allah we complain of the true pathetic nature of the situation we are in. Brothers and sisters, every single time we think the situation cannot get any worse, subhanallah, the bar continues to go lower and lower. And every single time we have to remind ourselves, what exactly are we doing? How do we find comfort in this crazy world? How do we make sense of all of this irrationality that is taking place? And one of the primary advice that I give myself and all of you, rediscover the beauty of the Quran and the verses dealing with suffering and pain. Rediscover the beauty of the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. Rediscover the beauty of the stories of our own companions and tabi'un that came before us. Subhanallah, we grew up reading these verses. We grew up reading the seerah. We grew up being taught the stories of the Sahaba and we absorbed them. But when we look at them again and we understand them in light of what is going on, wallahi, it is as if we have never read the Quran. It is as if we have never understood the seerah. It is as if we have never benefited from the stories of the Sahaba. They take on new meaning. They give us new life. They give us a comfort that we never knew we could get. And subhanallah, here we are. Here I am struggling. How do you cope with this grief? How do you come to terms with this reality that we're seeing? And what comes to my mind is, who am I compared to the Prophet ﷺ? And yet, he also saw such difficult images. He saw them with his own eyes. He's walking in Mecca. How much did he see? And we know how compassionate he was. We know how soft his heart was. We know he would stay awake the whole night in tahajjud, crying to Allah to protect his ummah, making dua to Allah for the shafa'ah's ummah. He loved us so much. He told us every prophet has been given one special dua, and every prophet has made that dua. But as for me, I have kept my one dua that Allah promised me, and I have not used it in this world. I will use it for my ummah, that Allah shall forgive my ummah on the Day of Judgment. He loved us so much, he would cry the entire night, making dua to Allah that Allah bless his ummah, forgive his ummah, protect his ummah.